Hey, if you're over 40 and retirement still feels unclear, there's one sentence I hear constantly. I just work longer. And listen, sometimes working longer is a great choice. But the problem is that most people don't use it as a choice. They use it as a coping story. It's a way for them to avoid doing the harder thinking. So in this video, I'm going to explain why, hey, I'll just work a little bit longer is not a plan. And I'm going to do it without shame because disciplined people say this too. High earners say this too. Responsible people say this too. But after 40, this sentence hides risk, and the risk has a name. So let's label the first concept. Working longer is a variable, not a strategy. A strategy is something that you can rely on even when life gets messy. A variable is something that might be available or might not. What people believe is, hey, if I'm short, I'll just add a few more years to the workforce. And how this really shows up is they don't tighten their numbers, they don't stress test, and they don't define durability. They keep the plan vague. They keep the retirement date flexible. And look, the reason why it's reasonable is because you've done hard things before. You've worked your whole life. You can handle more work, and it feels responsible to be willing to work. But why this breaks down after 40, right, is after 40, more years has hidden costs and also hidden assumptions. You're assuming, arguably, your health holds, your industry holds, your energy holds, your family doesn't demand more, your job remains available on your terms. And that's a lot of assumptions, right? And a plan built on assumptions is fragile. Working longer can be part of the plan, but it cannot be the plan. Okay. Now, the second concept here is you're borrowing time from the wrong place. You're usually borrowing time from, well, the future to avoid clarity today. And the future is one place you have the least control. What people believe is that, hey, I can always work an extra 3 to 5 years. And how it typically shows up is they don't have a hard retirement number. They don't have a defined lifestyle cost. They don't have an explicit income floor, no understanding of fragility. Feels reasonable is because right now you can work. So the brain assumes, yeah, I'll be able to do this later, right? And why this breaks down after 40 is because later is where uncertainty lives. Like, again, health changes, your parents age, children need more, caregiving appears, company restructures, industry shifts. And one of the most painful outcomes is this. You plan to work longer, but then you can't. And that's when working longer becomes not a plan, but a blind spot. Concept number 3. Working longer often leads to masking a missing bridge. So here's the real heart of this. For many people, the issue isn't that retirement is impossible. The issue is that the plan has no bridge. I'll clearly define this. A bridge is, well, what connects your working life to your retired life without requiring perfect conditions. It's the design that prevents desperation. Most people don't have a bridge. They have hope, and that's masked through, hey, I'll just work longer, right? That's not a bridge, that's just postponement. And what people believe is, hey, if I delay retirement, I just fix the problem. But how it shows up is they treat time as the solution instead of treating time as the constraint. And again, it feels reasonable because delaying reduces pressure in theory. Yeah, you have more years to save, you have more years to invest, fewer years to fund. Those are the real benefits. But why it breaks down is because it ignores 2 risks that matters most in late stage: forced retirement and bad timing. Forced retirement means, hey, you stopped working earlier than planned, so health, layoff, family needs, burnout. And bad timing means you retire into an ugly market period or ugly inflation period, and the sequence locks in the damage. So if your plan depends on you working longer, you built a plan that fails in exactly the scenarios you should care about. So the real distinction here is it a choice or is it a trap? And let's just be adult about it, okay? There are two versions of work longer. Version one is, hey, you work longer as a choice. You like your work, you're healthy, you want to, it's optional. And that's a fantastic place to be. Version two is work longer as a trap. You have to, you need to. You don't have clarity, you don't have durability, and you're hoping time saves you. Most people don't know which version they're in until life forces the answer. Now, this channel exists so that you don't have to learn that the hard way. This is how you self diagnose. Again, here's 3 questions that'll expose the traps. If you answer no to these, I'll work longer is probably a trap. If you had to stop working in 24 months, would your plan still function? If you retired into a bad market year, would you be forced to sell low? And do you have a clear income floor that doesn't depend on markets behaving? If those questions make you feel uncomfortable, good. Because that means you're looking at reality, not stories. I'm not going to tell you not to work longer. I'm telling you not to use it as a substitute for clarity. Because the goal isn't that, hey, let's retire at a perfect age. The goal is don't build a plan that collapses if life interrupts you. That's durability. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can stress test your plan without spreadsheets, without complicated math, and without false reassurance. Because stress testing is the difference between, hey, I think I'm fine, and you know, I know what would break. So if you've been saying, hey, I'll just work longer, don't beat yourself up. Just recognize what it is. It's not a plan, it's a variable. Use it as a choice, not a coping story. And if you want real clarity, we build durability, not postponement. I'll see you on the next one.